Hello everybody and welcome back to Odin's movie blog. I am the critic who is a cynic. Hope you're doing well, and today I wanted to first say thank you to everyone that watched the video that was released yesterday, which was a piece of the podcast that me and John the Flick Pick, John Flickinger, do bi-weekly. So I gave a little bit of a taste of that podcast. If you want full access to the entire podcast, both on his channel and on my channel, we do two separate podcasts. Please consider checking out both of our Patreons. I have a subscribe star, and also both of us have YouTube memberships as well, and it'll be in one of the cards or in the back end of the video where it'll be one of the recommended videos to check out. But anyway, the big news of today, of course, is that Steven Spielberg is stepping down as director of Indiana Jones 5, and it is said that James Mangold is in talks to replace him. Now, overall, James Mangold is a great director. I think that if anyone was going to take over the mantle of directing this film and directing a film from this franchise, James Mangold is a very good option for it. However, I'm going to take this from a slightly different perspective because I want to focus on the fact that Steven Spielberg is stepping away from his baby, is stepping away from a project that he has been so passionate about for so long. I mean, there's a reason why he has made 4 of these movies, and I honestly can't understand why, especially after the reception that Crystal Skull got, and after the abomination that was Crystal Skull, why he wouldn't want to come on for one more indie film to fix it, to say, this is going to be my legacy, I'm going to end it on a high note, I'm going to give my complete all to this project, and it's going to be freaking awesome. And that leads me to ask the question, why did he back out? Why did he back down? Is there something going on behind the scenes as to why he decided that he did not want to be a part of this project? Or is this simply him saying that he's being more selective in it? It's interesting to me, though, that he took on a project like Ready Player One, which in my opinion was just not a very good film, was definitely almost very un-Spielberg in a lot of different ways. Some people like to say, oh, but there are so many Spielberg elements to that movie, but the movie wasn't good. And that to me has always been a very key element to Spielberg films, is that even if they aren't the best films that he's ever done, most of them have at least been good. Ready Player One was not. And I think that we could look to Ready Player One, and I would even put Indiana Jones Crystal Skull into the same category as far as how poorly those films were actually done, even though they may have had those elements of Spielberg-isms in them. And so I asked that question first. Why is it that Spielberg is stepping down from his baby when it seems, everything seems to indicate that he would want to take another film on? He would want to fix the record. He would want to show that he still has it. But yet he's taking on films like Ready Player One and also remaking films like I always forget the name of it for some reason, but the Romeo and Juliet spinoff West Side Story. He's remaking that film. He's directing that film, but when he's given a chance to redeem himself in the eyes of Indiana Jones fans, he's going to back down. And yeah, I would say we're being replaced with, in my opinion, a better modern director. I think that as of right now, if you look to the films that both of these directors have made in recent times, James Mangold has better films. Just going to put it out there. But let's go ahead and read a little bit of the Variety article before I give a little bit of my own speculation. So, after a long development process, Steven Spielberg is handing the directing reins on Indiana Jones 5 to another filmmaker for the first time in the franchise's 39-year history. That's how long he's been involved with it. He was involved with Indiana Jones 5. He's also going to still remain involved in more of a behind-the-scenes role, but the fact that he's giving up the directing reins after 40 years of being the only director of this franchise, I don't know. I think there's something else going on there. Sources say while a deal hasn't closed, Ford v. Ferrari director James Mangold is in talks to take the job. Mangold has put in this situation before when he took over the Wolverine franchise. 2017's Logan was a blockbuster grossing $619 million globally and earning Mangold an Oscar nomination for an adapted screenplay, and that is the pedigree of James Mangold. He has made Ford v. Ferrari, which is arguably one of the best films of 2019, and he made Logan, which is possibly one of the best comic book movies ever made. I think there's some debate that could be had on that point, but I think most people will argue that Logan was a very well done movie. It was very different than other comic book films before that, and that's why people like me loved it so much, because it was so different. It was so much darker and so much grittier, and there were so many really cool things that happened, and James Mangold got probably one of the best performances out of Hugh Jackman in the role of Wolverine that I've ever seen. And so for him to come on for Indiana Jones, to work with Harrison Ford, I think if any director could get a good performance out of a Harrison Ford in a film that he probably shouldn't be doing at this point in his career at his age, it would be James Mangold. As I said, fine with the reins being handed over to him, but I am concerned and wondered why Spielberg is stepping down. Spielberg will remain as a hands-on producer on Indy 5. According to a source close to the filmmaker, the decision to leave the director's chair was entirely Spielberg's and a desire to pass along Indy's whip to a new generation to bring their perspective to the story. And I think that's pretty much a by-the-numbers response. Oh, I'm just giving up the directing chair that I've had for 40 years now to someone brand new after we've gone through this long process because I want someone else to have it. If that was truly the case, if that was actually true, he would have done that when they first announced it. He would have done that at the very beginning. That's why I think that he was intending to direct this movie and then something happened. Or because of behind-the-scenes stuff, he decided to step back from the director's chair. Harrison Ford, meanwhile, is still on the project. The actor recently made headlines speaking about the future of the franchise while promoting his latest film, The Call of the Wild. He told Indiana Jones they're going to start making it in about 2 months. So again, this is pretty last minute for him to be stepping down as director. Again, if you're 2 months away from filming and your director stepping down, that's a pretty close proximity for a film like this. The Hey Guys, the podcast is later on, they told them that scheduling issues and a few script things, and that they're determined to get things right before we get it made. So it sounds like there's behind-the-scenes chaos behind it. And guess what? You want to know who's involved with this project? You want to know who's behind this project as a producer? That's right, Kathleen Kennedy. And that is the connection that I want to make for this video, is that I think the reason why this film is going through behind-the-scenes chaos, why people like Steven Spielberg are stepping down, is because of people like Kathleen Kennedy, who, as we all know, has been in the industry for a very long time, but after what she's done with Star Wars, has not really built up a very good reputation for being able to be a good creative head. She is terrible at creative. We know this for the very fact that the films that have been made under her regime have been god-awful. And also, she has been the one that has led to so many delays, even to the point of workers who were already ready to get started on a Disney Plus TV series for the Obi-Wan Kenobi series were told to go home because, oh, we're going to change the script again because Kathleen's not happy with the story. And it sounds to me like that's something that's been happening with Indy 5 too, is that it's been in pre-production hell because there's been disagreements. And I guarantee you, if we're to believe anything that we've seen, or rather if we're to remember all the things that we've seen going on with Star Wars, her being involved with Indiana Jones and possibly causing some behind-the-scenes chaos would not surprise me. So my speculation is that could it be that Spielberg's stepping down because he is tired of dealing with her as a director and would rather try and be as a active producer to try and maybe edge her out a little bit, saying, no, I'm going to be the head producer on this. You take a back seat. I'm going to help control this baby, which I have a better position to do as executive producer if I'm focusing just on that aspect, to just be the main producer behind the project and let a good director that I trust, like James Mangold, take the reins over instead. That's my speculation, and I'll bring up another article in a second from Bounding Into Comics that makes me think the same thing. When Disney first announced a new Indiana Jones film in 2016, Spielberg directing and Ford starring, the studio originally slated the film to be opened in 2019. Then it was pushed to 2020, then delayed again to 2021 when Jonathan Kasdan, son of the Raiders of the Lost Ark scribe Lawrence Kasdan, also the person that wrote, yeah, that's right, Solo: A Star Wars Story, #Solo Lost Money, was brought on to take a pass on the script after original screenwriter David Koepp left the project. With a new director coming on board, the possibility that Indy 5 will be pushed once more from its 2021 release date seems likely. So this film is in pre-production hell. This has been the case for almost every film under the Kathleen Kennedy regime over at Lucasfilm. The fact that she is involved, and you have other players like John Kasdan involved in this as well, and you have the same thing going on with Disney also being involved in this too, where, oh, it's going to come out this time. Oh, we're going to delay it. We're going to delay it. We're going to delay it. I've seen this story before. All of us who are Star Wars fans have seen this before with Star Wars, especially with the recent Disney Plus shows, and I think the same thing is happening with this. But another thing to kind of add fuel to the fire is this new rumor. Now, this is going into rumor territory here, and this is thanks to John F. Trent over at Bound Into Comics, where the rumor is that after Bob Chapek becomes Disney CEO, Kathleen Kennedy could be removed in an organizational restructuring for bungling Star Wars, meaning that she's not going to get fired, but that she's going to be moved specifically out of being the head, similar to how you have Bob Iger step down as CEO CEO but remains a member of the board, you could have Kathleen Kennedy be moved to a different position, maybe a higher level position, maybe a lower level position, but be removed as head of Lucasfilm. And that to me seems like a very likely scenario. So the new rumor details Kathleen Kennedy could be removed from Lucasfilm via an organizational restructuring. The rumor comes from Midnight's Edge. Again, I love the boys over at Midnight's Edge, who detail that with Bob Chapek taking on the new position, he will enact his own vision for the company. And Midnight's Edge says what this new vision could entail. In the wake of such, so this is from Midnight's Edge, in the wake of such a change in senior management, more changes will inevitably ensue as the new CEO changes the organization in accordance with this new strategy. To this end, several division hands may be changed. And if you prefer another term, if you prefer another term, purge. I'm all over the place today. That opens the door to remove Kathleen Kennedy as well, and doing so in the name of restructuring that affects the entire organization, rather than singling her out for termination over her obvious criminal negligence of Star Wars would make a lot of sense. So again, that is not the reason why Iger stepped back, but the rumor has it that firing Kathleen Kennedy is a part of that equation. That, by the way, is something I also hear. They do indeed want to get rid of her. As of right now, she is an anchor on Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. Not until Kathleen is gone will they have completely free to take control over Star Wars. That is what I have heard. Anyways, make sure you file it under rumor. So this is under rumor territory. Glad Midnight's Edge made it very clear. They always do. That's why I always love people like Bounding into Comics, like Midnight's Edge, because they always try and make it very, very clear about what they're talking about. But this seems to make a lot of sense because Kathleen Kennedy is weighing down Dave Filoni, is weighing down Jon Favreau by the very fact that it's because of her getting involved in these scripts that these projects are being either put on hold, or that other rumor of her being kept from the set, which again, I think that being kept from the set might not be completely true, but them maybe not keeping her involved in their ideas and plans, or maybe trying to play more hardball with her. That is something that I possibly could believe. But when you add this rumor, especially with a new CEO coming on, and restructuring usually does happen when a new CEO is brought into the scenes, and we all know that Kathleen Kennedy has, without a shadow of a doubt, bungled Disney Star Wars, especially leading to the only Star Wars film in history to lose money, hashtag so lost money, and also the fact that she's involved with another project that is being delayed again, with even Steven Spielberg, who's had this baby for 40 years, stepping down as director to be a producing power behind the scenes. I think Kathleen Kennedy's days are numbered. I think that even though she might have information on certain people, even though she might be friends with some of these people, they recognize she is not a good person to be put in a leadership position. She is not a good person to be put in charge of creative, and therefore they need to shield that in every way they can. Because even though Spielberg stepped down as director, the fact that it seems that he'll still be a very powerful producer on set seems to indicate to me that he very much still cares about this franchise and wants to see this franchise succeed and have a good ending to the Harrison Ford character, which this likely will be the end to his character. And with James Mangold, that's very possible. But this also seems to indicate that Bob Iger being out of the equation now, new people coming in, and behind-the-scenes chaos on projects that all have Kathleen Kennedy's name on it, seem to indicate to me that there's at least problems behind the set going on. Kathleen Kennedy seems to be a person who's at the center of it, and I think and agree with Midnight's Edge that you'll likely see some shakeups happen. And if Kathleen Kennedy's among the shakeups, it's about damn time. But anyway, what are your thoughts on these rumors, this speculation that I'm giving? Again, I think that it's not too far of a stretch to see that projects that are associated with the same producer are having all of this behind the scenes stuff going on, that we know that there are people unhappy behind the scenes with Kathleen Kennedy's work. We know that fans are unhappy with the way that she's run Lucasfilm. Even shills like John Campea and others have already voiced their opinion, saying that they think that she should step down as the head of Lucasfilm because she doesn't really know what she's doing creatively. I think that now more and more people are seeing that. More and more people are seeing that the giant property, the $4 billion IP they bought, is worth less now, it seems, at the very least, than it was previously. And if they want to get back on track, at least what the films are concerned and their Disney Plus shows are concerned, they're going to want some new direction. However, with the recent announcement of the High Republic era in the novels, I don't really know if that's a direction they're going to want to go in, because it looks like they're still trying to push, even in the novels now, more of this woke garbage that we just desperately want out of our Star Wars. But let me know your thoughts about that and all the things we talked about in the comments section below. If you like this video, smash the like button, hit that subscribe as well if you want to be informed of more content. I do a lot of box office breakdowns on this channel, do a lot of movie culture, movie news, and also, of course, movie reviews and DVD Blu-ray video reviews as well from time to time as well. And you guys are all amazing and beautiful people. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and as always, God bless. And now to give a shout out to my February Patreon and Subscribe Star members: Animation Commentator, Brian P., Dion, David Brobrizik. Please let me know if I need to repronounce that name. DivX, Elizabeth M., Enrique Evangelista, Father Christopher Miller, Frank the Tank and the Shawhan Weird Dog Clan, Harold Francis, The Hunky Chunky Funky Monkey, Inflamed Wood, It's a Trap Productions, Jason Clark, Jeffrey Toon, Jeffrey Lebowski, JJ Jonathan Jerembeck, Kenneth Cameo, Lady T, Mad Mitch Dunaway, Mr. Peabody and his evil twin with the beautiful hair, Orange Hat Reviews, Outpost Dyer, Perpetual Punster, Riff Magos, Rosetta Allen, Steve Glasker, Teresa Martin, Theodore Bendon, The DJD Show, and Tina B. And over on Subscribestar, Robert Revo, Larry, Mr. Roy, Glinzer, G2 Cool 99, Darkstar 57, Alice McCarthy, US 888-209 Fast, Dean Heiss, Hild Francis, J-Rod the Beer Guru, Nebanon G. Adams, and ZK Man. Then a shout out to Riff Racer Request and Sir Lance Elato and Mike Jackson. You rock. Thank you very much for being my Patreon and Subscribestar members for the month of February. And if anyone else decides to join, at the next couple of days or so, I will add you into this list as well. You guys freaking rock. Have a wonderful one. And as always, God bless.